Hey everyone, it's your boy Felix and welcome back to Mr. KOBBY'S. Today we are diving into the programming part. Grab your coffee, sit back, let's go. So open your Visual Studio Code. So today we will do a little bit of theory and then we go to the practicals. So one will ask, what is Python? It's a popular programming language. It was created by Guido van Rossum and it was released in 1991. And what is it used for? For web development, software development, mathematics, system scripting, and many more. And what can Python do? Python can be used on a server to create web applications. It can be used alongside software to create workflows, connect to database systems so that you can update, delete, and then put in your files and images and many more. So here are the examples of things that you can do with Python. So I created this ultimate screen recorder app for screen recording. Okay. I also built this sample management system, which helps to manage your shop, whether retail or e-commerce. And it's really nice. These are all function of Python. That is the use of Python. So now let's get started with the scripting. So for every programming language, we need to display something on the screen. And as for Python, we use a function called print. So first thing first, let's create our file called hello.py. You can give any name, but then make sure the extension should be .py. So we want to display something on the screen. Let's say hello, welcome. So we are going to use the print and then say hello, welcome to Mr. KOBBY'S deal. Now let's run and see the outcome. So looking at here, we have hello, welcome to Mr. KOBBY'S channel. We can also print our names and our age. So now let's run and see the outcome. Okay, so this is how we display information on the screen using Python. Now let's go to another section called variables. So variables, they are containers for storing data values. So they are containers for storing data values. So in mathematics, let's say x is equal to 5. And here our variable is the x. Yeah, our variable is the x, and then our 5 is the value. That is why we say variables are containers for storing data values. So if you want to display this 5, what we're going to do is we bring print and then we call this x. Now we hit run. You will see your 5 here. So you can also do another one. Let's say we want to save our first name and second name, or first name and last name using these variables. So first name Felix, second name Owusu. So if I want to display all the names, what will be the answer? So print first name and then you can say second name. Let's run and see if we get the first name and the second name. Great. So we use print and then variables. So the variables store the values. So here the Felix is the value, Owusu is the value, and first name is the variable, second name is the variable. So this is what we mean by variables. They are containers for storing data values. Variables do not need to be declared with any particular type, and it can even change type after they have been set. Now let's move to another section called casting. So if you want to specify the data type of a variable, this can be done with casting. We have x is equal to string, which is 3. And then we have y is equal to int, which is 3. And then we have z is equal to float, which is 3. So now, with the help of casting, let's see the outcome of each of them. And don't worry, we'll be talking about this str, int, floats, and then the rest. Those are all the data types that we use. So let's print all of them and see the output that we'll get. So we print y, then we print z, and let's see the outcome. So Control S to save and then see the outcome. The first X is string, so we will talk about that one. And the second one is integer. We will also talk about that one. But take a look at the last one, float. Something has to come in mind. So we are dealing with decimals. When you say float, that is decimal. So now let's go to data types. Let's go to data types. In every programming language, there are these data types that are constant. So you should know these things. So these are the data types. We have one called integer, which is represented by int. An example is these are all integers. You also have another one called string. Its shortcut is the str that we saw earlier. So these are the alphabets, and we normally put them in quotation mark. So this is how we represent string. And we have another one called floats. So this one, the shortcut is the same as float, as I showed you earlier. That is the decimals. Okay, we also have another one called boolean, and we represent the shortcut is bool. What we use is the true or false. That is all about these data types. So you should have this in mind. These are the data types every programming language needs, and it's a must. You need to know them. So now let's take them one after the other, how to use them, how to manipulate them. So I want to perform mathematical calculations. So I would like to use the integer so that it will be easy for me to go along. Mathematical operations. But then before that, we need to know the kind of mathematical operations that we have. So first one, we have addition. So addition represented by plus. We have subtraction. We represent it by this minus sign. We have division. This percentage sign. We have multiplication, and that is we use this star or the asterisk. And then we have the modulo. We use this sign. We use this percentage sign. We have greater than, less than, and equal to. So greater than, we have less than, and then we have equal to. These are the basic mathematical operations. These are the basic mathematical operations that we're going to use. So now let's see how we can manipulate these mathematical operations and then the integers in Python. So let's say first number is going to be 3 and then second number is going to be 4. And you're asked to add them. So addition, first number, the second number. And now let's see the outcome. We had 7. Now let's try another mathematical operator, which is the subtraction. So we have number 1, which is equal to 56, number 2, which is equal to 90.56. And now let's print the answer. So number 1 minus number 2. And then you print your answer, which is the sum. We have minus 34.56. So now let's tackle the division and then the multiplication. So for division, we have, let's say, x is equal to 2 and then y is equal to 4. So we have to divide y by x. Let's see the answer. So we print the div. Okay, 2.0. So that is the right answer for us. So division go with the float. Let's go to multiplication. So we can say first number is equal to 4. Second number is equal to 5. So first number, you use this asterisk as the multiplication sign, and then second number, we print. Okay, that's great. So this is for multiplication. Let's try the modulo. And the modulo always talk about the remainder. Let's say you have 2 divided by 2. What will be the remainder? So let's see how we can implement this in Python. So we have our first number 1, which is 34, and then our number 2, which is 2. If you take 2 modulo 34, so answer is equal to, we have 2, so 2 will be our remainder. So now let's tackle this function. So we have a certain function called inputs. It helps us to accept these data types, the integers, strings, boolean, and the floats from the user so that we can manipulate it. So first thing first, we will ask for the username, the password, and the age. And then after that, we print them on the screen. So this is how we implement input in Python. So first name, or let's say username, is equal to this input. You open your brackets and then you open the quotes and then enter your username. You ask for the password. So password is equal to input, enter your password, and then you ask for the user's age. So input, enter your age. So after the user has input all these things, we should display them on the screen. So we use print to say username. So we ask for the username, password, and then the age. Now let's see how it works. So we will first ask for the username, password, and then the age. And since Python run in sequential manner, it will take the first one. When you issue that command or when you give the answer, it will move to the next command. So it reaches the last one. So now let's see how it works. Great. So enter username Felix Owusu. Next name, password 1234, and then my age 22. So you see Felix Owusu, that's my name, and then the password 123 and my age 22. This is how the login screen works. And now let's see how we can implement the boolean. How we can implement the boolean, that is a true or false. So basically it's going to be the conditional statement. If not A, then it's B. So this is how if condition goes. So we're going to utilize the boolean as well as the if to make conditions and see which one valid and which one it's invalid. So conditional statements with boolean, that is a true or false. Guys, please kindly subscribe and hit the like button. So we have x is equal to 5 and then y is equal to, let's say, 2. And we want to see if x is either greater than y or not. So we should validate their statement. So if x is greater than f, we need to print that, let's say, x is greater than y. Or if y is greater than x, we should say that y is greater than x. Or if y is less than x, we should say that y is less than x. So let's see how we can implement this in Python. So it goes like this. If x is greater than y, then we should say something. So if x is greater than y, we should say x is greater than y. So let's see if it's true or not. So, okay, x is greater than y. Yeah, it's true. X is greater than y. Because x is 5, y is 2. So if x is greater than y, that means this condition should display, or this statement should display. So if this condition is true, this statement should display. So if it's not true, let's see what will happen. Okay, nothing has printed out. That means x is greater than y. Nothing has printed out because x is greater than y. But if we do this, we are trying to say that x is less than y. Meanwhile, x is not less than y, but rather greater than y. So this is how if conditions work. So in order to see if it is less than or greater than the variables that we are dealing with, we go by else statement, and then we print that y is less than x. Okay, so now let's run and see the outcome. Yeah, y is less than x. It's true. Y is less than x. Because looking at this, we have y to be 2, x to be 5. So let's change this and see. If you change this, what will be the outcome? That's great. So this is how if conditional statement is. And that is the boolean. So another example. Say we have a is equal to 33. We have b is equal to 200. And said if b is greater than a, we should print b is greater than a. So let's see the outcome. Yeah, b is greater than a. Now let's see another example. And I want to introduce something called elif. So the elif keyword is Python way of saying if the previous conditions were not true, then try this condition. And this is how the else if works. So now let's say a is equal to 33, b is equal to 33. So if b is greater than a, so we should print b is greater than a. Then we go to another condition, that is the elif, and then you bring your condition. Let's say b is equal to a, we should print b is equal to a, and then else, that will be the last statement. So if any of the conditions are not true, the last statement, which is the else, should be implemented or should be executed. So you print. Now let's see the outcome. So if you run it, it said b is equal to a, because for the elif that I said, you want to say that if the previous conditions were not true, then try this condition. So if this condition is not true, then let's try this. So we use the elif to do that condition. And looking at the variables with their values, we have a to be 33, b to be 33. So definitely they are the same. But then if we change this to 34, let's see the outcome. Okay, b is greater than a. So basically this is the basis of if conditions. Kindly hit on the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. Drop me any question or thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for tuning in to Mr. KOBBY'S, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Thank you.